My name is Elsie Ritchie, and I'm a senior communications student for the Business and Industry program at Jacksonville State University. Welcome to our Student Spotlight, a video series highlighting our current students and their successful stories. Today we are here with Kasey Gamble, a senior at Jacksonville State University, majoring in early childhood education. So Kasey, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and kind of your story before Jacksonville State University.
Yeah, so I'm from Pell City, Alabama. I went to Victory Christian School from first grade all the way to graduation.
Wow.
So I was super involved in high school. I was a cheerleader and a tennis player, and I also was really involved in Key Club, which is a community service organization.
Okay.
So I was on the district board or the state board for that. So I was able to play in like statewide community service projects, and that was really cool. And when I graduated, I came to JSU just because it was close enough to home that I could go home when I wanted to, but it was far enough away that I didn't have to go home.
Right.
So that's kind of why I chose JSU. Absolutely. And then I've had 5 majors, and like you said, I'm currently an early childhood education major, just because I absolutely love working with little kids and helping people, and that's kind of where my passion is.
Absolutely. So you talked about your passion. Now, was there a specific role model or person in your life that made you become passionate or decide to be passionate about giving back and, working with other people and being involved?
I have 2 older sisters, and throughout my life, I've always really looked up to them. And so my sister was involved in Key Club, and so I kind of pursued that as well. And my sister came to JSU, so I chose to come to JSU as well. So everything that I've done, I've definitely tried to follow my sister's footsteps, just because she's an absolutely amazing person, and she's definitely a role model to me. Both of them are.
That's really cool. I have a couple sisters too, and they're big influences of where I come from and who I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you relate your passions into choosing Jacksonville State University, and what made JSU stand out from the rest of the colleges that you looked into attending?
Well, coming from Victory Christian, it's a really small school. I graduated with 27 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I definitely wanted to find somewhere that was obviously bigger,
right,
but still small enough that it wasn't like really intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came to JSU, everybody was just so friendly, and I really like how like when you're at JSU and you're like walking down the sidewalk, you're gonna see people you know and people you don't.
Right.
So you always see a familiar face if you need someone, but you're never like just with people you know. So there's always the opportunity to meet new people.
So was the transition from coming from a school that you knew everybody pretty much your whole life to JSU challenging in any sort of way?
Yeah, it was definitely kind of a culture shock.
Right.
Just like you said, I knew everyone. I knew their parents, their grandparents, everything about them. So coming to JSU and just seeing like the number of people, even though it is a smaller university, it still was just completely overwhelming.
Right.
But I absolutely love it. I definitely wouldn't change it.
Absolutely. So what do you think your biggest accomplishment before coming to JSU was growing up?
Like I said, I was really involved in Key Club.
Right.
So being on the district board, I had to run for that position.
Okay.
And that was really intimidating in high school, just because I wasn't really one to like go up and make speeches and
Right.
Stuff like that, even though I feel like I do that all the time now.
Yeah.
But it was scary. So it was nice to like put myself out there and like be successful in that.
Absolutely.
And then our like main service project was raising money for Children's Hospital.
Right.
And so it was nice at the end of the year to like look back and see how much money we had raised. So that was definitely my biggest accomplishment.
Yeah, that's really, really awesome. Congratulations about that, by the way.
Thanks.
So just from talking to you and knowing you on campus, I know that you're very, very involved. What was one organization as you came onto campus as a freshman that really stuck out to you?
I would definitely say Freshman Forum. I was a member of Freshman Forum, and I went on to become a mentor. That's where I met all my friends. If I wasn't in Freshman Forum, I don't really know if I would be where I am today, just because I met all of the people who helped me to be successful on campus.
Right.
It also teaches you a lot of like skills that you need in life, like interview skills and how to make a resume and stuff that you never really think about needing, or like think about how to do.
Absolutely.
So it definitely gave me a lot of skills that I need in the future for sure.
Now, what have you been able to accomplish here on campus? Have you furthered, your leadership from freshman forum? If so, can you elaborate a little bit on it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, I was in freshman forum, and then I went on to become a freshman forum mentor. I was also a student senator my sophomore year, and the vice president of the Student Activities Council, which is a volunteer board in the SGA. And I absolutely fell in love with that. Like I said, in high school, I was all about volunteering and community service, so I felt right at home here at JSU. So I went on my junior year to become the SGA Vice President of Student Activities, which is an executive position. So I planned student events for all students on campus, and that was so much fun.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. It's so rewarding to work so hard to plan an event and then see students enjoy it.
Right.
So stuff like hockey stock, that's kind of our biggest thing that we do.
Right.
And then this past year, I ran for SGA President, and that's what I'm doing now. So it's super busy, but it's a lot of fun. I get to represent students in meetings with our administration and make sure that our students' voices are being heard and make sure our administration is being held accountable for what they do.
That's really, really neat. Now, have you thought about, I know you're majoring in education, but have you thought anything about, going into the political side of the world or just sticking with education?
Yeah, I've thought about it. I was a business management major for a little while,
Right.
But I'm not political minded at all.
Right.
My involvement in the SGA stems more towards me wanting to help and give back to our university.
Absolutely.
And my passion for helping students than it does for the political side of
Right.
everything, for sure. So I've thought about it, but I definitely don't feel like that's where I need to be.
Absolutely. And that's really neat that, you've dabbled in leadership positions that might not be something that geared towards, your certain major, but
Right.
that's what is great about JSU is because you can still have those passions that don't really work towards what you're majoring in, but still be able to have those experiences in something else. So what can you take from these leadership roles that you've learned thus far at JSU, and kind of how are you going to incorporate it into teaching, later on in life?
Yeah, I've definitely learned how to speak in front of people. When I got to JSU, and even when I ran for VPSA my sophomore year. I had a very hard time speaking in front of people. My voice got shaky, and I was just really nervous all the time. And I still get nervous talking in front of people, but I definitely do a lot better with it. I can have a steady voice, and that's so important in teaching because while I want to teach 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, in education you really just have to go wherever you can find a job. So if I am teaching older students, that's something that I feel would be an issue if I hadn't done stuff like this in college. I've also learned a lot of arts and crafts stuff,
that's
making presentation boards and all that kind of stuff. It's given me a lot of tools that I can use.
That's really, really neat. So if you could pick one event that we hold at JSU that's your favorite, what do you think it would be?
I definitely love Spirit on Mountain Street. So that's during Welcome Week. It's on the Thursday of Welcome Week this year, and it starts at 6 o'clock. But the community comes and they give out food, and then we're having Morgan Wallen come this year, and he's gonna play. So it's really awesome because it's really one of the only events where the community and the students at Jacksonville State come together, and you don't see that very often at all. So it's a lot of fun. It's always a really good time, but. And I love food, so all those tents full of food, it's a lot of fun. It's a good atmosphere.
I think that was one thing that stuck out to me about Jacksonville was not only, how close the university was between the professors and the students, but also with the community, because that helps in networking to further jobs, especially in education, because, with it being a small community and kind of small towns around here, it helps meet different teachers and different cities that you probably wouldn't have known if you didn't make those connections here. So I really do think that JSU, just, from hearing your story, is a great opportunity and great university.
Absolutely.
So in your mind, especially coming from being involved with SGA, what do you think a university should bring to a student? Whether it's, the opportunities to further their future, how JSU does that, or, just from personal experience, how JSU has really felt like home to you?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely important to point out that, while the students pay the university definitely should be working for the students.
Right.
So I think it's important that our university caters to all types of students and provides different outlets for whether you're really into like graphic design and art or you're into sports. If you focus like just on one thing, then you're missing out on so many students that could come to JSU and are coming to JSU.
Right.
So I think our university does a really good job of that. I know we have intramurals for like the athletic students and you know, in the SGA, making sure we plan events that cater to all types of students.
Right.
So just making sure that we are like well-rounded in the stuff that we do.
Absolutely. And finding, you know, like little niches for different kinds of people.
Yes.
So what do you plan for your future? Like, what are your goals and aspirations once you graduate Jacksonville State?
Well, I definitely want to find a job.
Right.
That's most important.
That's number one.
And you know, I'm really open to teaching anywhere.
Right.
I would love to stay close to home because I'm a huge family person.
Absolutely.
Big homebody.
Yeah.
But you know, in education, it's really wherever you can find a job.
Absolutely.
And I'm fully aware of that. But I mean, I also like have the cliche plans of like starting a family and all that kind of stuff. But you know, I don't really have like super long-term plans. As like much fun as teaching sounds, I don't want to like get in a classroom and stay there till I retire.
Right.
So I'm definitely like, I've always wanted to travel and do stuff like that, but obviously like money doesn't grow on trees.
Right.
So you know, I want to like get a job and save money and then like try to do some fun stuff too.
Absolutely. Now, final question. What is one piece of advice you could give an incoming student to Jacksonville State University?
Oh my goodness. Put yourself out there. As a freshman, like when I came to JSU, I tried to put myself out there, and if it wasn't for freshman forum, I don't even know if I would have any friends right now because freshman forum kind of forced me to do that.
Right.
But whether you're in freshman forum or not, it's so important to like just go up to somebody and be like, hey, my name is Kasey, like, do you want to go get lunch?
Right.
Because, you know, all those students are in the same position that you are,
Right.
and none of them are just going to be like, no, thank you. Like,
Yeah.
they're all going to be nice. So the more you put yourself out there, the more likely you are to find other people that are like you and make more friends.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kasey, for sharing your story with us. We had a wonderful time interviewing you. We hope that you enjoyed Kasey's video. And if you think that we should hear a story from a current student, comment their name below and we will reach out. Thank you so much for listening. And this is Student Spotlight Video Series. Have a great day. Go Gamecocks.